What is up, everybody? How's it going? Just wanted to give you a brief introduction on this video. This is the full interview of Mr. Ray Steelman from the first witness to the Flintville Monster in southern Middle Tennessee. This rash of sightings began in 1974, but he spotted the creature in 1973. Portions of this interview were used in my documentary, The Flintville Monster 50 Years Later. And if you do want to watch that, it can be found at flintville50.com, and I put it in the description of this episode as well, either on YouTube or your podcast app. That's FLINTVILLE50.com. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up and like this episode, and please subscribe and follow. Enjoy the show.
Well, I'm pretty good at jawing normally.
Yep. Okay. I got my coffee. Are you? You got yours?
I got it. Yeah, I got a water here, so I'm ready. I've had a cold, so I hope I don't get the coughing. If I do, kill the mic or something. You don't have a cough button, do you?
No.
I did a lot of TV and a lot of radio too. And we had that cough button. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hit that cough button.
Is it the Flintville Monster or the Flintville Bigfoot, they call it?
Well, I never heard it called Flintville Monster at all until I saw it on YouTube. On YouTube. Somebody unrelated to it called it that. But back then, we all knew it as Bigfoot. And it was really not a rare thing, to be honest with you. It was when I saw it because we were the first ones to see it. But after that, too many people saw it. Everybody saw it.
Was it a white one you saw?
Oh no, it was black as pitch.
I've heard a couple of people say they saw a white one up there too.
No, I think there's all kind of tales come out.
Yeah.
Well, they were seeing everything.
My boss's great aunt said she would like go to her grave swearing on the Bible. She saw one step across the fence up there.
Well, she may have.
In the Kelso area.
Mm-hmm. That's where it was, Kelso, Flintville.
Now it's just watercress farms.
That's about it. My brother still lives up there.
You were fox hunting and you saw it coming through the.
Yeah, I was big into hunting back then. I had, if you can believe this, I had 23 beagle hounds at one time.
I believe it.
And I was rabbit hunting primarily, but the state of Tennessee back, I'm not sure exactly when they did it, but at some time back during that period of time, they put a bounty on gray fox and bobcats. So you didn't even have to skin them. There was a tannery there at the bottom of Fire Hall Hill in Fayetteville. You could just take the whole animal down there. In fact, if you ran over one on the road, you could take it down there.
That's an easy $5 right there.
Oh yeah, it wasn't $5, it was $30. And $30 back then was pretty good.
Good Lord, I'd run off the road.
It was $30, and you didn't even have to clean it; just pick it up, take it down there.
Yeah.
So we got all excited about it. So we fox hunt. We got. I had some buddies that really were into it. They killed a bunch of them, and but we didn't kill that many. But we did. It got to the point it was pretty easy, to be honest with you. I could take a rabbit call. I could call them up within just a few feet of us. It got to be murder almost. In fact, it got so easy, we started doing it with a bow and arrow just to prove we could.
Having fun with them at that point, like brim fishing.
Yeah, it was. It got too easy to shoot them with a gun. So we'd get out in the middle of a field. We'd find a big open area, and we'd get out there. And on the best time was when the moon was full, and there was a lot of light. You could see them come in there. We had to be careful. We didn't try to spotlight them or anything, but you could see them. It wasn't any problem to see them. But on this particular night that we saw Bigfoot, it was pitch dark. I mean, it was dark out there that night, and it was kind of spooky anyway. And we got in the middle of a big old field between Kelso and Flintville, and I had a pickup truck, and we'd put hay back in the back, and we get up on that hay and sit there and call his foxes in. And so I was blowing on the fox call on that night, and we had 2 foxes that we saw come in, and they were getting closer and closer. So we just sitting there waiting on them. And then all of a sudden they were gone. I mean, they disappeared, and that never has happened before. So we knew something had spooked them. Well, we didn't see this Bigfoot at first. I'm going to call him Bigfoot because I think that's what he was. But we didn't see it at first, but we heard it. He didn't groan, didn't make any sound, but that rabbit call absolutely was driving him crazy. And he was crashing through the brush back there, blackberry bushes. And we saw him. We looked off to our right, which was to our south. He was coming in. And he was going wild. Well, I'd blow that call, and he'd hunker down. He'd stand up. He'd hunker down, stand up, bend over. He was hitting tree limbs and making all kind of noise. He wasn't quiet at all. And we probably watched him for, I'd say we saw him for a good 10 minutes. No question about it. We were trying to figure out exactly what we were seeing because nobody else up there had seen this thing. We were the first ones to see him. And it's recorded in some of these Bigfoot associations have called us and Bigfoot groups, and they have us listed as the first sighting of the Flintville Monster, which they called it. And anyway, it watched us. And I tell you the strange thing about it, it had red eyes. And we've never seen anything. I've hunted since I was 10 years old. We never have seen anything with red eyes. Well, I've since learned that the alligator's about the only thing with red eyes.
Yeah, I was going to say that Duck Dynasty showed us the alligators got the red eyes. And
yeah, they do.
Green. Yeah.
Well, this one did too. And it wasn't hard to see it. We took a flashlight and we'd shine a flashlight over and those eyes just beamed, big, bright red eyes. And he was going wild. We didn't know what to do, really. We could have shot it, to be honest with you. There's no question about it. We could have shot it. But we didn't know what we were shooting, number one. And I thought, well, we may shoot that thing, go over and he's got a zipper up his back or something. You know, I don't want to get into that. But there's no question. It was not anybody. It was a wild creature because it had all the features of a wild creature. And I'm going to estimate, it was hard out there in the dark to know exactly how big it was, but I'm going to say it was 7 to 8 feet tall for sure. And it watched us, and I'd blow the call and played with it really for a while. Well, it circled us, or did a semicircle. He stayed back in the brush. We could see him, but we couldn't. He wouldn't come out in the open, completely out in the open. But he circled us, and when it got downwind of us, he picked up our odor. And when he did that, boy, he took off. It took off exactly the way it came in, on a dead run, just running over stuff, knocking tree limbs. It was the bushes were shaking out there, and he went out exactly on the same route that he came in on. And that was the only road in that field. So we sat there and said, now how are we going to get out of here? Because it went out right there exactly.
Yeah.
Where
so many stories in with people like, how am I going to get back to my truck?
Yeah, well, we were in the truck, but we still had to drive by it. So we waited a while, and we got it back in the truck, and it was cold that night. I remember that. It was in the fall of the year, but the leaves were still on the trees. It was early in the fall. And we eased back down that trail, and we watched. There's a dirt road coming in out there. We watched every move until we got out of there. And never saw it again. Never saw another trace of it or anything. Well, naturally, you go to all your buddies and tell your buddies about it. Well, they're rolling their eyes, and you know, nobody wanted to believe much what we'd seen. But we told everybody about it, and then not long after that, somebody else saw it. I don't remember exactly who saw it next, but somebody else saw it, and then after that, somebody else saw it. So it got to be where it got around the community that this thing was really real and it was really out there. So they finally believed our story. And if you have read much about the sightings back in 1974, they didn't end in 1974. They went on like, I bet that thing was out there for at least 8 years, maybe 10, or they'd be spotted, or so at least people said they saw it. And so it didn't just end in a year or two, or a sighting or two. And at times it was seen by several people. There was a guy in Fayetteville who's dead now, Stan Moore, good friend of mine. And Stan became the local expert on Bigfoot. And he got up there, he tracked it, he did everything. He had plaster footprints, he had feces, he had hair, and he had quite a collection of Bigfoot stuff. And he was interviewed by, of course, TV stations came. I guess you know that much about the story, but we were bombarded with news media, newspapers, TV stations. They were all down here. See, 1973 was kind of a funny year because there were a lot of things going on. If you've read much about it, you're not old enough to remember that, but that's been 51 years ago. But
I was 10 years shy of seeing
it. Well, it was a funny year because there was a great, what they call a great UFO wave, which happened. It started about when we saw Bigfoot in the fall of 1973. Went into 74, and if I remember right, part of 75, where they were seeing UFOs everywhere. They were seeing it in Nashville, Birmingham. It was kind of a rectangle from, I'd say, Nashville to Atlanta to Knoxville to Birmingham, back in that area right there. And they were being seen a lot. You can go back and double check that. Well, we learned later that most of the time, when there are a lot of UFO sightings, that Bigfoot they have a lot of Bigfoot sightings also. So we dreamed up the idea that maybe this thing was brought down here and put out for some reason by somebody, by aliens or somebody, because I didn't believe in that type of stuff at all. I didn't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in ghosts. But I tell you what, it changed my opinion, because today I don't say anything's impossible, because we saw it. We definitely saw it. I have no question in my mind what we saw, and it was not a anything other than a two-legged biped, 7-8 foot tall, hairy, black with red eyes, and so it's made me a lot more receptive to, today we hear a lot of talk about aliens. It's big in the news today. And it's made me a lot more receptive to the idea that, I don't say that's not going on. That could be, it could be that what we're hearing is absolutely true. I don't doubt that at all, to be honest with you. But I don't know what we could have got if we'd shot that Bigfoot. We got $30 for a fox. We might have got.
Imagine you showed up in Fayetteville with a 6-foot monkey.
Wouldn't that have been funny?
Monkey on your truck.
That would have been funny. That would have been funny, but we had an opportunity to do it, and I'm thankful we didn't, because who knows what that was stirred up,
I mean, there's always the you've heard enough stories to know that everybody says it looked like a person in the face.
Well, we couldn't make that out.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, there's always a chance that maybe they are a person, and you'd have got manslaughter and put in jail for 25 years.
Boy, wouldn't that?
Yeah.
They made a movie Bobby about that, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but they did make a movie. I saw it, where a guy dressed up in a suit and he was scaring everybody, going around in a Bigfoot outfit, and he did get shot. That was the ending of the movie. He got shot.
There's one called Pottersville, kind of like that, but he didn't get shot.
I see it.
He didn't get shot at the end of it. No, he just they found his suit and he was a fraud.
Okay, and that's not it then. This is a different one. It's an older movie. Flintville had two things going on out there. Not only do we have Bigfoot, but we had the Flintville Light. Have you heard about the Flintville Light?
I have heard about that.
Well, I saw that more times than you can count. I lived out there then. I was teaching school. I was 27 years old. I was teaching at Butler High School in Huntsville when it was the biggest school in the state of Alabama, coaching football, baseball. I would take kids from school out there to see it. But from my class, some of my ball players, and I was taught at Huntland before that, and I would bring them from Huntland down. We'd sit out there on the railroad track, and that light, the track, it was out at Milner Switch, which you probably don't know where that is anymore, but there was a switch out there years ago where they switched to sidetrack. And that light would be, I bet the track was probably a mile long in two directions. And we sat right there in the middle on a trestle. There's a trestle that came up there. And so we would go out on that trestle. The creek was down under us, but it was on up in the air, probably 30 feet or maybe a little more. And it's pretty long. Well, first time we saw that, I didn't go out there to see it. I went out there to hang around, tell stories and stuff like that. But we were sitting there in the middle of that trestle. That light came over the end of the track, coming right at us. Well, I thought if you saw the Flintville Light, it was like somebody walking through the woods with a light or lantern or something like that. But that's not what it was. It was a ball, I'd say the size of a hubcap. probably 10 feet in the air, and it flew down that track. We saw it and stood up the first night. We saw it, and you could see it getting bigger. It was getting that close to us. So it scared us. We turned around and ran. I thought this might be somebody in a car or something out there going to run over us. So we were running down that track hard as we could go. And it got within probably 30 feet of us maybe, and just disappeared. No sound, nothing. Just disappeared. Well, that really stirred my curiosity. So I was back out there all the time. I was the local expert. In fact, I was such an expert on it that Nashville Tennessean got my name and did a story about us. I've still got the article. I did a story about the light at Flintville and trying to figure out what it was and what caused it. So we never figured that one out for sure. But that's two things that I've seen in my lifetime that I didn't expect to see. And I know for certainty that I did see them,
Now, was that light blue or was it whiter?
It was light. It looked just like a headlight on a car. And I'll tell you what, it threw a beam because that railroad track was not in operation. It'd been out of operation for a long time. So the bushes had grown up right to the edge of the track. When that thing came down through there, it lit up the bushes on the side of the track. It was not just a little small light. It was a big light, and it was propelled down that track. If I had to guess what it was, I would say it's ball lightning because I've done some research on the internet about that. And I have seen some video of that, of the ball lightning, and it looked just about like that. So could be that's what it was. It was real swampy on both sides of the track. Of course, somebody got killed there carrying a lantern. That's what the whole story was about. Yeah, but I tell you what, he didn't have a lantern that big, and he certainly couldn't run that fast. I can tell you that.
Have you ever seen there's actually a video of the ball, static ball that crosses the railroad track? Somebody got a video of it. It's crazy. So you're thinking,
well, that's kind of what we saw, I guess. It was
there's another one north of you too, and I can't think, maybe around Murfreesboro. And
there are others, and
but I know somebody else that saw it. That's what's crazy.
Well, after the Tennessean did that story, everybody wrote in the paper trying to tell what it was, and someone said, "Oh, it's lightning bugs." Well, it certainly wasn't lightning bugs. And another guy said it was ball lightning, and I got to thinking, well, maybe it was ball lightning. And most of the time, I will say this: most of the time that you saw it, it had been raining. Or it was raining. The night we saw it, it was raining on us. We were sitting out there and getting wet, and water was standing where it had rained before. So if that may have something to do with triggering that, but a lot of people saw that. A lot of the local residents saw it all the time. So it got to be a place to go hang out and bring your girlfriend, and drink beer, and I started looking for a light.
I just wonder if is it still there?
No, I don't think so. I never hear about it anymore. And the topography out there has changed a lot. Yeah. The land's been cleaned up a lot. There's a lot more farming in the area. And I would doubt if it's still out there today. But it was out there since I was a little kid. I probably when I was just born. I heard stories from the time I grew up, but my parents all lived out there, and my aunts and uncles, and all of them had seen the light on the railroad track. But I was probably, first time I saw it, I think I was a sophomore in high school, maybe something like that. But
that's pretty neat that you noticed that you could actually pinpoint when it was going to show up.
Oh yeah, it got where it got where I could see it every night. If the conditions were right, I would see it. And I've heard people go out there and say, "Oh, I never saw that thing." Well, no wonder. They went on a bright moonlit night, and you had to go when it was raining. You had to go when the conditions were just right. But if you did, you could see it. We didn't have cameras then like we have now either. If we'd had iPhones where we could have made video of that thing, I'd had it on YouTube. I'd probably got 1 million hits on that thing. But
it's funny. It's always the brakeman. The dead brakeman story.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, there's several of those. And the light does what you said they did. And it makes me wonder if it is like static buildup, like the lightning makes it happen.
I'll tell you my theory on that. Yeah. It was probably 10 feet in the air, and it stayed right above the tracks. It never veered off in the woods, not one time. Of all the times I saw it, it never veered. It stayed right above that track. So there must be some kind of magnetic attraction that holds that thing in there, because it did look like, I mean, it would wobble some, like maybe it was, you know how a magnet does when you have metal. And so I kind of figured that maybe this thing was ball lightning and there was some kind of magnetic attraction that kept it above the track, but it came flying. It didn't just come wandering down through there. It came fast.
Yeah, that still doesn't make it any less impressive.
No, it impressed
because that's a natural phenomenon.
And
the fact that it stayed right in the middle means that track was holding in there.
That's right. It impressed our girlfriends. That was the main thing.
Oh yeah. Doesn't matter what the hell it is at that point.
They say half of Fayetteville was conceived on that railroad track. You may have to cut that out, but
oh no, that's gonna be the clip.
I have no doubt that's probably true.
That's funny.
I don't want to get too loose tongue on you. They'd leave Red Bucks and go up to the Milner Switch. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to find. There was a video of static ball. It's on there. I've seen it on YouTube.
There was it's probably Bigfoot was holding it.
Well,
above his head. Well,
I don't know. I've heard people say, well,
there it is.
Bears have red eyes. Bears don't have red eyes. I've seen a lot of bear. We don't have bear up there, and we hadn't had a bear in Tennessee up in that area in a long time.
Yeah, unless even like that story said, unless it was just passing through.
Well, they do that, but they still don't have red eyes.
No. And
I never saw a bear that can walk. I mean, I guess they can, but this thing was on back legs the whole time, or on two legs, Actually, what we saw seemed like it had smooth edges on it, though. It did. It didn't look ragged around the edges like that. It looked like a spotlight, a big old spotlight, big as a hubcap, just flying down the track towards you. Looked like a train. That's what it looked like.
And it might have been. I mean, you may.
No, there weren't any trains out there.
You may be explaining away like a ghost train or something. You never know.
Well, maybe it was a ghost train.
Hey,
yeah.
Who knows?
The boys went off to fight the war, the Civil War. My great granddaddy rode down that very same track where I watched for the light in 1860. He got he joined the Confederate Army, him and his brother, and they rode down that very same track. And those boys that was in the 44th Tennessee out of Fayetteville, almost none of them came back. They lost so many that had to be regrouped after Shiloh. That's how many were killed. From Fayetteville, they came down that very track right there. They had to reorganize the 44th Tennessee. And after that, they called it the 44th Consolidated. But they caught the train at on the other side of Flintville at a little place back then it was called George's Store. Now it's called Brighton. And they got on the train there and went through Flintville, picked up some more, and came down that very track, and making their way over to Deckard, Alabama, where they spent the night, and they wouldn't let them get off the train. And then they went all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky for their training. So there's a lot of people rode down that train that never rode back. So maybe it was a ghost train. I don't know.
Hey, maybe like 1 out of every 10 was the ghost.
Could be.
When you were having these experiences, I called it I-64, Davy Crockett Highway, Highway 64.
64.
Was it there?
Yeah.
I don't know when it was built.
Oh no, it was there. It wasn't built like it is now, though.
Yeah, not a 4-lane.
No. They didn't 4-lane that thing till probably fairly recently.
I remember when it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because we would come to Winchester to buy hogs.
You had to go down.
You go over the mountain and come down.
It was a 2-lane road.
Yeah, and you come down the mountain to a 2-lane, take a right to Winchester and left to Fayetteville.
We thought they never would get that thing finished. They worked on it for years and years, 4-lane that road. And, of course, that's been a tremendous improvement.
It's nice now. And
much safer, too, because there were so many people killed up and down that road, especially on the Big Cut. You know where the Big Cut is up there. Coming out big turns where you go back.
On
the other side of Kelso.
Yeah, now you got to hold on when you go there.
Oh, you know,
there's a cop sitting over there usually too.
Yeah, it's not bad now, but it used to be a terrible place for accidents and trucks and all. I lived right not very far from there, on that road there, right off of Winchester Highway is what we called it, and hitchhiked up and down that thing going to school. I graduated from Middle Tennessee State University. And I'd go out there and stand and stick my thumb up. And I had an old blue suitcase I had on one side. It was painted. We were wandering a little bit. Painted MTSU. And on the other side, it had Fayetteville. And I'd turn it according to which way I was going. And I'd get a ride. I'd get a ride in no time, you know.
What's the college there before you go into Lynchburg? The big one on the right. Motlow, yeah.
That didn't exist. That didn't exist back then. That's a community college.
Yeah. They're proud of that in Lynchburg.
Oh, yeah.
You go to Miss Mary Bobo's, they talk all about Motlow.
I've been to Miss Mary Bobo's plenty of times. And Motlow, my brother was president student body at Motlow. Mm-hmm. And his daughter, my niece, also was president student body there. But back then...
So I was going to say the house across from Bobo's is haunted.
I don't doubt that. Yeah. That jail is probably haunted too. If you've been in that old jail.
I asked him about it. Had to ask.
Lynchburg's one of my favorite places. We go up there a lot. I flew over it yesterday when I'm out rambling around as a pilot. I'm a pilot. I think I told you that.
Yeah,
I fly up there a lot. I wish they had a runway so I could land and get out and go over and sit at the hardware store or something, hang around. But they don't.
They're missing a boat there because I bet people would fly in there.
I don't know where they'd fly. They fly in Tullahoma. Yeah. Tullahoma's the closest airport.
They could land by them barrel houses.
That'd be nice. I'd like to do that close enough I could walk. I just go over and hang out a lot because I do like that environment and enjoy being up there. They have a radio station, or did, I guess. Yeah. Is it still up there?
I think so.
I've been on that radio show a time or two. I'm a harmonica player. So.
Where I grew up, there's a store called Pikeville Store. Had like the most famous cheeseburgers in the state of Alabama.
Oh,
just across the mountain from where we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was kind of related to me, the people that owned it, and big old hayfield right next to it. People fly in. Georgia Cessna Club. Fly and land this. I don't even know how they asked permission. They just landed in it.
Well, I wish we had that up there. I'm not above doing that kind of thing. I have done that kind of thing, but it's kind of hard land out there on those hills.
Yeah, the straight and narrow is hard to find up there.
It is. It's up and down.
That's what separates Alabama and Tennessee is that portion. The way it looks in the Kelso area. Just we camp and trout fish up there a lot.
Oh yeah, you go to Tim's Ford Dam, below the dam.
We my dad knew an old man that lives right there on Ferris Creek, and he would camp there and go to the dam and float down into his campsite right to that bridge.
There's some good trout.
I think that guy's dead by now.
Yeah. Well, as you get older, everybody's dead by now.
Yeah, he was 80 when I was in college, so I don't know how old he is.
I'd say he's probably gone by now.
I go up there and I always go home. It's the route that comes before you get to the dam. You take a right and you go back in them hollers. But I always come out by his house, and his Dodge truck he had in 2006 still there.
They backed that dam up. Backed that lake up in 1968 or 69, and I watched that because I was teaching in Huntland. So I would go over there. They had an observation place up on the hill up there next to it, and you can go up there and sit and watch that lake fill up. And there's some hollers they filled in that are absolutely probably 300 feet deep, or 100 feet, 200 feet deep anyway.
I bet, because that's a big one. That's a deep lake.
And it's very clear. It used to be very clear because when they first backed it up, you could see, I bet you, 40 feet deep in that water. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's probably not that like that now. I go up there occasionally now, but
there's two stripers hanging in my mama's house. That's from there, big old 3 foot long.
We have fished for those stripers, but we hadn't caught any like that. My wife is almost a professional fisher person. She's caught 2 11-pound bass, big mouth bass, and we put them back and let them swim away. But she's caught so many 8 and 10 pounders that we don't even make their picture anymore. You know,
Those people mount them.
I know, should have mounted those 2 11-pounders. I regret now letting them go away. But
it makes you want. Now, was the elk was how far up did it go before they dammed it up?
oh, it starts way up in Franklin County at the base of Mount Eagle Mountain, back up in there. It winds around. I fly over it all the time, and it winds around. It's not very big back up in that area, but it starts up in there. And then down below it, you know, you go down below where the dam is now, and you get to, there's a bridge over there called Shiloh. I don't know if you know where the Shiloh Bridge is.
I do.
Still stands, still being used. And right in through there was some good fishing and some good swimming. You know, we'd go swimming up there. You're going to think this is funny, Bobby, but it's honest truth. You're hearing from a real country boy here. There'd be, we'd go up there.
I feel like we're related, by the way.
Well, Flintville had a bunch of guys, and we'd go up there and camp. And me, and I was just a kid. I was probably, I don't know, 8th grade, maybe 7th. And there might be 60 of us out there camping out. Well, we'd all decide we won't go swimming. We just took our clothes off and went swimming out there naked as jaybirds. There wasn't a swimsuit within 40 miles of Shiloh Bridge up there.
They didn't exist back then.
Oh yeah, it existed back. That's an old bridge, but that shows you how times have changed.
No, I meant the swimsuits didn't exist.
Oh no, they had swimsuits. We just didn't have any, and we didn't know what a swimsuit was really. But people today are too modest to do that, I guess. I wouldn't want to do it today myself, but we did it back then. Didn't even think about it.
I wouldn't do it because of leeches. Well,
it was full of leeches, and we got leeches between our toes, on our back. We'd pull them off of each other, and it was also full of snakes. And there's some snakes up there to carry you away. I mean, we would swim out in that water, and then we'd decide we want to go fishing. So we'd get a seine and to seine minnows, and we seined more snakes than we did minnows. And we just got out of the water swimming, you know.
You know, as many times I've been up there, I've never seen a snake in that river.
Oh, we floated from Shiloh Bridge. This got to be a thing to do also.
I try not to look.
Well, you better not. We floated from Shiloh to Fayetteville. We had several boats, 3 or 4 boats, counting 94 snakes between there. And that's just ones we saw. There were 94. And when I was at Fayetteville, I taught at Fayetteville for 2 years. I loaded up a bunch of my boys, and we carried them up there. We had 8 or 10, maybe 12 boats, and floated that river with some parents, and spent the night on the river, and had a good time. It's very scenic up there, very pretty.
It's very. I mean, it's insane.
I've grown up practically on that river. I've floated so many times I can't tell you. We had no sunscreen, of course, and we had no nothing to kill the flies. And we'd get eaten up between there and Fayetteville. By the time we got there, we'd have 50 fly bites on us and all. So it would take us a while to get over it. But that's just the difference in the times.
I was looking up on here how far away Shiloh is from Ferris Creek. That's another day's paddle.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can't realize how much that thing weaves back and forth that river. You fly over like I do. I flew over it this morning. And
we go over the Flint River all the time.
Yeah, I floated that also. When I came to Huntsville, I floated that a bunch. I had a kayak, and I'd go up to Newmarket there at the bridge on Oscar Patterson Road and put in. And my wife would meet me down at the other end about a day later, almost a day later. Take a long.
You about can't go that far north without it being flooded.
I know it.
You drag.
I know it. You had to drag it. You pulled it as much as you floated in it.
Yeah. There's an app on your phone where you can find the river data, and if it's below 500 cubic feet per second, I don't even do it. You stay south of Winchester. Yeah. If it's anything lower.
Yep. Well, so I was getting out there. I float to Mount Carmel is where I normally got out. But that's some pretty country up through there. Just absolutely very, very nice. We see all kind of wildlife. You see deer and muskrat. All people. A lot of people. Now
I've done Oscar Patterson / Walker Lane to Ryland a bunch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a haul.
I was going to be a builder, and so I built 2 houses. I built 3 houses out there. 2 of them we moved in, built one, and I bought 13 acres and started developing until Jimmy Carter got elected president in 1976. and that broke that because interest rates, mortgages went to 21%. It's hard for us to imagine now, but
boy, history don't repeat itself at all, does it?
woo, no, it don't look like it.
Not even.
Well,
it's like the same guy.
I met Jimmy Carter probably 5 years ago. We went down to hear him preach Sunday school one Sunday. My wife and I did. Had to get there at 5 a.m. and had to get. We were the second car in the parking lot. The church didn't start till about 10. But I told her, I said, I'm going to tell him he kept me from being a builder. I let those interest rates go to 21%. But I didn't.
Gasoline saw. Anyway.
Oh, we had gasoline lines in 74 that were a mile long. Hey, that's before him. That's before him.
I don't even remember what we were talking about now.
I don't either. What was it?
I feel like I'm literally at Redbucks right now.
Well, there are not many places like that left, Bobby.
I was wanting to buy the store at
New Market
County Lake in Maysville and make it a biscuit place.
Mm-hmm.
I work on Redstone now, but
you do.
Yeah.
Well, we like go to New Market and eat at the New Market barbecue.
Oh yeah, I've been there a few times.
Okay, and then back on the road there across. I can't think of the road now. At the restaurant there, it's still open.
The New Market restaurant.
New Market restaurant. I guess that's the name of it.
Yeah, my father-in-law took my kids there the other day. We ate there one time. We were politicking for after Albert Hall died.
Oh.
Back in 2007, one of my friends' dad was running, and we ate at New Market restaurant.
Oh yeah, beans and taters. And taters. Good. I enjoy that kind of eating.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
No, me either. That's affordable. That's the main thing.
we have Sunday dinner every Sunday at my mama's house.
Oh,
you do? It's like Thanksgiving.
Oh.
It's just like Andy Griffith.
Yeah. Sitting on the front porch and swinging and swinging, yeah.
Get full as a tick and do this a lot.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't know what else I can tell you about.
I had a couple of inside questions for you.
Okay.
I heard your story and we got to jawing, and I wasn't going to stop that because that's the reason I started. That's the reason I started this podcast. I was going to one thing that stuck out with me about your story was where did it go? You said you didn't know what it was before when you saw it. So you were just using things in your mind what it could be. Mm-hmm. You thought a cow or a horse. Mm-hmm. I mean, I talked to a lot of people about when they first see it, and they're always like, "Well, I wasn't even thinking about."
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the last thing on my mind. The thing on our mind was making $30 or more. And when that thing came in, we just didn't. It caught us with shock. It shocked us because we didn't know what it was. And I'd never seen anything like that. I'd never seen anything that big in the woods with me. I thought it might come over where we were, But it was,
I mean, did you even when you heard it crashing? I know I've heard cows get loose.
That's what we thought it was.
Yeah, and you don't even really think anything about it. You just hear something walking.
Well, it was moving pretty aggressively, And but we thought for sure it was a cow or a horse. But when he got up there and we could see it. No, we knew we were looking at something strange right there. And
you hit it with your lights and just saw all the detail.
I wish they'd had iPhones because we'd have a great picture of one. Mm-hmm. It probably got within maybe 50 yards, maybe 40 yards. It wasn't like he was way over yonder somewhere.
Yeah, he was close.
He was close to us.
If he was close, if you had shotguns and you thought you could have killed him, he was close.
Oh, I could have got him. Yeah, I know I could have. But we didn't. So somebody else has to do that. Somebody else had the honor of bringing one in.
So many people I've heard had scopes on them and couldn't do it.
Well, I could have done it if I know for sure what it was. I didn't have any problem doing it, but I just wanted to be sure I knew exactly what I was shooting. And we never find the bodies of Bigfoot.
Nope.
They don't find skeletons. They don't find the body. And so our theory is this is just redneck guys from the woods. Our theory is they come back and pick them up. They put them out here. They use them to check out the environment, to check out whatever, and maybe they come back and get them. And that's the reason we don't find any bodies.
I mean, to me, it's almost more feasible to think something like that than if they bury them. I mean, eventually you'd find a grave.
Right.
But like like you saw the thing,
Mm-hmm.
you knew it was there.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to exist in some shape, form, or fashion. There's also the theory that the old myth of the fairy folk. This is going to sound really deep and really weird, but you saw Bigfoot, so we're doing this.
Okay.
But like if a fairy gives you something,
Mm-hmm.
it turns to leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back and read the old Irish, Scottish fairy legends, they're the same as Bigfoot legends.
Right.
Like they overlap. They're the same legend.
Right.
And so I wonder if they're not some kind of variation of that when they die, they turn into a pile of leaves. I don't know.
Well,
it's part of the woo-woo.
Could be. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know, but I know I did see it. It wasn't my imagination.
Yeah.
And I've excited a lot of people about it because I tell this story over and over to kids and different people.
It's fun to read, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, it did happen. It caught us completely by surprise. We didn't fabricate it or anything. And suddenly we're looking at Bigfoot, looking at him in the eyes. And then after that, other people verified our story. It made us a little more creditable because other people started seeing the same thing we had seen. And there was one time, if you've read about the Flintville Monster, there was one time when I think it was like 5 or 6 people saw it at one time.
Mm-hmm.
It was
like a party.
Yeah, it was a party of people. And they did shoot at it, if you've read the story.
I think I read it on BFRO. I was looking at it.
I'll tell you where you can probably find information on it. You can go online. I do a lot of writing myself and researching, and I bet the Lincoln County News Archives will have stories about that because I've gone back. I went back to the Civil War and read the paper on days when certain things happened during the war, researching for a book I wrote, 2 books I wrote. But you can actually read the account in the paper. So our internet makes it really great to research about anything. And if you want to learn how to do anything or you want to learn more about anything, just go on YouTube.
Yep.
Just type it in, and I promise you, you'll find something on it.
That's how we research stuff at work when it breaks.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, we're in IT. We get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
We don't Google. We don't Google like a madman.
Hey, I do it just about every day. And just simple things I can't figure out how to fix, or even things on the airplane that break. I go in there, research it, and find it. So we have great tools today. I walk every day of my life. I have a computer on my wrist and a computer on my waist and a computer at home. So
I don't do the wrist thing. I have to have an analog because of where I work at. I can't have have an iWatch.
Oh, you can't. Oh, you're missing one of the treats of life.
Yeah,
I listen to podcasts.
I have one, but it's at home. I have to leave it at home and wear it on weekends.
I have probably gotten 2 degrees listening to podcasts off my watch. I exercise every day, and I listen to podcasts every day on different subjects. Listen to one today, a real good one today on Nathan Bedford Forrest, if you know who that is, in the Civil War. So dream up a subject, type it in, you're probably going to find it. So we have super tools today. There's no reason for people not to die dumb, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because you can research anything you want to research.
Two of my fellow Alabama alumni were named after Nathan Bedford Forrest. One of them was the guy I was telling you about, the lived behind Shiloh Church. Yeah, his son's named Nathan after Nathan Bedford Forrest. Oh yeah, and Forrest Gump, of course. Yep.
Hey, look on. I don't know. You probably can't see this. You see that right there? That's one of the best Civil War libraries in Lincoln County. I mean,
really?
Madison County. I've got about everything you want to know about the Civil War. In there. And Nathan Bedford Forrest, of course, is my favorite character because here's a guy that was born dirt poor and became the richest man in southeastern United States before the war. He was an entrepreneur, of course. We won't get off on that, but
he was a good leader of a certain club.
He sure was. Well, there's a story about that. Sometime you and I will have to get together. I'll explain a little bit about that because he allowed him to put his name on there as a Grand Wizard in order to dissolve the KKK. And his first action was to dissolve it, and he did dissolve it.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Go back and read. And it was dissolved. So he's a misunderstood character in history.
Well, the only thing most people know about him is from Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's and their bed sheets and their horses.
That's right. That's right.
I'll let you go here in a second. I was going to
Okay.
ask one more thing. If
Okay.
if you've ever collaborated with any other witnesses up there that you said you talked to.
Well, I did 50 years ago.
Yeah, 50 years ago. Yeah.
They're all dead now. I wasn't
obvious.
out there by myself, Bobby. There was a guy with me too.
Yes, sir.
But he's dead now. So I don't have even him to collaborate my story. But he did collaborate it at the time. And we told everybody, about it. But I'm 77. And when you get to be 77, you go looking around and say,
yeah, you're the only one left.
Where'd everybody go? Where'd everybody go? So you got to make new friends. That's what you got to do when you get to this stage of life. And you got to be young friends.
I don't know if you consider me a friend, but I'm not that young. I'm only 40.
Well, I never met you really, but I'll consider you a friend because I can tell you're my kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I can go all day. I have to stop myself sometimes doing this show. Look up, it'd be 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta respect these people's time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I get to drinking coffee. I won't shut up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you're our kind of guy. I did 4 years on Channel 48 on the Jamie Cooper show. Are you familiar with that, Jamie Cooper?
I remember Jamie Cooper.
Well, Jamie and I did. He was on there for many years. I was on there for 4 years as his sidekick, and this is the type thing we did every day. An hour, sometimes 2 hours, of sitting there chewing the fat. We'd be sitting there, Bobby. The camera, they were giving us a countdown: 10, 9, 8, and I'd turn over and say, "You got anything to talk about today?" He said, "No, do you?" I said, "No." And next thing you know, 2 hours later, we're sitting there talking about stuff. So
that's who I thought that was, the white-headed guy.
Yeah, well, he's white-headed now.
Yeah.
He's turned gray on us, but he's still on 31. He's still doing some work on 31 and stuff. We used to call him Country Rover. They don't call him that anymore, but
yep. I went to my degree was in television production.
Oh, wow.
At Alabama. I was going to be a hunting show host.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we had one. Donnie McAvoy was on our show.
Yeah, Donnie Mac.
You remember Donnie Mac?
I do. I know him. I did know him well. I worked at the tackle shop at Goose Pond for about a year.
Yeah, that's right.
And I met all those fools. I met Donnie Mac and Ray Scott.
Yeah, Ray Scott. Remember him well. We had all those people on our show. Anybody that came through town that was remotely connected with country music or in a movie, or if a two-headed goat was born, or if a family reunion or a chitlin supper, we were there right in the middle of it. So it was a lot of fun.
Donnie Mac's still going, I believe.
He is.
He would he'd have that Chevy Suburban, decked out in camouflage.
He sure did.
I used to work the fish tournament weigh-ins over at Goose Pond.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, Donnie would come in there showing us all the fish he'd caught, and we'd get on TV. I'd say, well, Donnie, I still see you can do a great job with a stick of dynamite.
You don't sit there and argue or fish.
We accused him of throwing dynamite in the water. That's how he got his fish. But now Donnie was a good fisherman. So, you looking at the clock?
No, I got a daggum thing in my ear. I didn't know what it was.
Oh,
it was a. I don't know what the notification was. It sounded like somebody with them water sticks.
Oh,
I'm like, what is that? Okay,
weird stuff goes on in those things.
I think it's a timer for my kids to screen time to end, but I don't know what it was.
Oh, it's
the first time I've ever been back here when it happened, so I don't.
They're probably telling you to come to bed or whatever.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll let you go. It's been a fun talk. I may reach out to you again. Maybe do a in person. All right, whatever. That's fine with me. I've enjoyed talking to you though. Yeah, it's been fun. I needed it after this week. You have a bad week. It's just been stressful. Work. Half the people's gone, so everything's on my shoulders, and yada yada yada. I'm saying that because one of my friends, my boss, will be watching this because of the Flintville thing, and I'm kind of trolling him right now. He's off gallivanting. Yeah, dumped it all on you. Yeah, He knows I'll take a nap on if you don't watch me.
Maybe he buzzed you in the ear. Maybe
Yeah.
that was him buzzed you in the
It
ear.
might have been. I don't know what that was. It sounded like somebody hitting two stick.
Yeah.
Scared me. What in the world? All right, buddy.
right.
I'll send you the link to this when it's done. It may be sooner rather than later. Maybe next week. Maybe in
I
2
don't know
weeks.
if I want to watch this one or not, but I'm enjoying it anyway.
Hey, it's a podcast is what it is. That's what we do.
Yeah.
The fact that it went off the rails is the best part.
Well, get in there and do some good editing so we don't look too redneck, too bad.
That's half the shtick.
That's right. That's right.
Well, you take it easy, and I'll hit the theme music, and have a good night.
All right,
We'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.